y'all, I'm Rev Mimi, and I am here with a spiritual snack. Listen, the other day I was so disappointed because I got overexcited. I don't even remember what I was excited about, but I got overexcited and I jumped up and scraped my finger on my ceiling fan. And the cut, while initially it didn't hurt or anything, I was so upset and so irritated because I knew how, like just by looking at it, that it was going to leave a scar. And I know that that comes off as really vain, but I just hate the way that scars look, and I hate the healing process. It always is really ugly. Like first you get that scab and then that falls off, and it's just really gross. Like I've always hated it. And as I was going into that vain route and just being really upset and mad at myself, God showed me a parallel in that moment. The fact of the matter is our country, our society right now is in a healing process, and it's ugly. It's painful. It's hard to watch. It's hard to witness. But God wants me to remind each and every one of us that even though healing can sometimes be ugly, it's in wrestling with these tensions and in dealing with the ugliness of these things that true progress and true healing and true transformation is actually attained. And so as we're dealing with all of these protests and watching all of this outrageous news just kind of come pouring out from all over, I want us to also be reminded that once we get through this, imagine the story we'll be able to tell. Imagine the testimony we'll be able to have. How many of you know that you can remember exactly what happened when you look at the scars that you have on your own body? I have a scar on my knee from racing my cousin rollerblading down the street one day. I still remember that story, and I often tell it. And once we get on the other side of this ugly healing process, imagine the testimony we will be able to have. Imagine what we'll be able to tell those who weren't able to witness about just how God was able to show up even in the most ugly season, just how God was able to take our struggles, our pain, and our hurt and turn not only our lives around, but the entire nation's life could be turned around by the grace and by the glory of God. And so whenever you start to get overwhelmed by all the ugliness that we're seeing, be reminded that God has a purpose. And I've said that before. Yes, God has a purpose, but beyond that, there will be a testimony, and you'll be able to encourage other people with the story about your scars. That's all I have for you guys today. I have really been enjoying our KF Squad parties. We have been having awesome and amazing conversations, and I don't want you to miss out on the next one, so make sure you join us this Sunday at 2:00 p.m. I pray that each of you is staying encouraged and staying hydrated, but most importantly, that you're staying prayed up. See you guys next week.